Dating Skills Review, the central source for dating advice for men, brings you the Dating Skills Podcast.
Hey there, this is Angel Donovan from Dating Skills Review, and today we have Mehow from Mehow TV. Hey, Mehow.
Hey.
Hey, it's good to have you on. Thanks for coming.
No worries.
Good. Mehow's launched a couple of programs over the last year and a half called The Wonder System and NSA, No Strings Attached. The specific aspects of these are that they're focused more on girlfriends. So the subject we're going to talk about today is girlfriends, how to get them, how to keep them, getting your ex back, and also like if you want to date multiple girls, why would you do that and how would you do it? So what is the biggest differences in approach for getting a girlfriend versus just hooking up with a girl? If there's a girl that you're just a bit interested in, you just want to hook up, do you approach it differently from a girl that you're really serious about and you really think that this girl's going to be important to you, and maybe you got ideas about getting married or something crazy like that, but whatever it is, you're serious about it and you really want it to work out.
So, ironically, if you really want to get a girl as a girlfriend, the pickup should be the same as if you're just trying to pick her up for a hookup.
Mm-hmm.
The differences come basically during the pickup. There's only one sort of key place where I make it obvious. If it's just a hookup, I say, I'm not boyfriend material,
mm-hmm.
right? And that actually makes the pickup usually tighter.
Yeah.
And because basically it's an IOD while she's already into you, because you say this like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours in, like sometime on a day 2, or if it's just like SNL, like you're a couple hours into it, that's when you say stuff like that. And that tends to make a girl that's only wants a hookup be chill with it, and it tends to make a girl that wants you to be the boyfriend like chase you a little harder. But it can also blow out a boyfriend set, right, or a set where you can become the boyfriend. So if it's a girl I'm genuinely interested in, I'll just say something like, I really love your personality, and these XY qualities about you are like really hilarious and make me laugh.
Mm-hmm.
And you just qualify, right? You don't say anything else, because basically like qualification is the only thing you really need to get a woman, to convince a woman that you're into her for more than just her looks.
Yeah.
And that's something that will start sort of twiddling the hey, I want to get with this guy sort of permanently vibe. But that's the only difference. I mean, it's a small tactical difference. It's whether you say I'm not boyfriend material or not, because you're constantly qualifying anyway, right? Or you should be. Like even if it's an SNL, I'm like constantly qualifying.
Okay, so you've used up a fair bit of terminology there. I just wanted to clear up. The main thing you're talking about here is qualifying, which is you're talking about in terms of qualifying to the girl that you're interested in her for more than just her looks, right? You're basically giving reasons for your interest in her by asking her questions about herself, or telling her that you're interested in her because of something specific that that in her personality or in the vibe between you.
Right. So I mean, I guess it'd be good for your viewers to explain qualification a bit, right? Because most guys that are starting out completely don't know what it is, and it's something that is really important.
Yeah.
I've been doing it for so long now that it's just like second nature. So I'm just like, oh yeah, I just qualify. Just go ahead and qualify.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. There is really, qualification is simply judging like a quality that she has about her. It's a positive quality, particularly from the point of view of like a girlfriend oriented pickup. And it's important for SNLs and girlfriend type stuff, but for girlfriend, she really, really, really has to know that you're into her for more than just her looks. Because sometimes for an SNL, like with party girls and stuff, they don't really care that much. Like sometimes you just want cock. Although pretty much, I've never had a situation where qualification hurt me. Like it's always good. You should always do it, right? So when you qualify, you're just looking for positive qualities about you. You don't have to ask a question to see them. I mean, a lot of times you can just be like, I love your smile. Like you just qualify on something she is that isn't like, you're hot and I want to fuck you type stuff, right? So when you're qualifying, what you want to do is you want to positively describe the quality that you observed in her, or she told you about, or you asked her about, like, what's your favorite thing to do ever? She's like, I love to travel.
Yeah.
You know what? I absolutely love girls that travel. It's so awesome. We're going to go all over the world and have incredible adventures together. So that's an example of the positive qualification. But at the same time, once you're done with the positive qualification of whatever quality you just qualified, you want to leave her suspended between hope and doubt. Like, we'll travel the world together and it'll be totally awesome, but I don't know if it'll work out because you look kind of like you'd like to get in arguments. So we're going to argue all the time. And, at that point, you can also get closer to her, get, like, very physical, and just be like, are we going to argue all the time? And it just, like, amps that up. So the pattern for qualification is IOI, then IOD. It's indicator of interest to the quality, then indicator of disinterest. So it's, like, positive then negative. And the reason you do that is you don't want her to think that she's got you, right? Because the second a girl knows she's got you, like, everything starts to die down. Like, you want to be the higher social value person. You want her to chase you. You don't want to be selling anything, right? So the second you say to a girl, oh, I like you, generally the pickup will start to, immediately kind of stale right there. Ultimately, the way she's got to figure out that you like her is when you stick your dick in her, right? Like, that's the ultimate I like you, right? That's, after that, you can tell her you like her, because after that, everything flips. Like, once a, girl has sex with a guy, then all of a sudden she stops thinking about, well, is this the, all the reasons why not to get with this guy? And now she starts thinking all the reasons why she did get with this guy, right? And why he's awesome. So from a how to get a girlfriend point of view, you actually want to sleep with her as fast as humanly possible, because that's usually when the sort of bullshit of the pickup stops and the real relationship begins. Like, after the sex, everybody just drops the act, like both the guy and the girl. So, ironically, the way you get girlfriends is just by being a really good pickup artist. And then once you have her, that's when, a game gets very different between sort of a girl you want to sleep with once a week versus a girl that you want to, move into your house or have her come over 3 times or whatever, right? But that's the basis of qualification. Like, another example of sort of humorous qualification, the pattern I usually use is I'll get a quality from her, whether I ask a question or not. Like, last night, a girl told me she worked at Wells Fargo. She was a banker. And she says, hey, I'm a banker and I do math good. And I'm like, that's awesome. That totally turns me on. Like, I love nerds. I love nerdy girls. But what'd be weird is we're in bed together and you start, like, counting all the tiles in the ceiling. And so she laughs at the IOD and she accepts the IOI, right? And that keeps her suspended between hope and doubt. The one exception to that rule is when you're talking about, like, things that are super, super important to her. Like core values, like, fundamental needs stuff like freedom or wanting to be loved. Core value stuff, like things that you think are super important to her, you just IOI. And I only do that, like, once during the pickup. So, for example, if a girl says I love to travel, what she's really usually saying is, I actually like to be free. And
makes sense.
And so then I'll say, well, you know what? I totally love hanging around people that are free. Like, I surround myself with, with free people. And it's just a beautiful thing. And she'll be like, you know what? That's amazing. Like, I'm really into that. And all of a sudden you have this, like, big bond, right? But I don't directly IOI the quality. I don't say to her at that point, hey, I really like the fact that your fundamental need is the need for freedom, right? I go about it a roundabout way. I say I love to surround myself with people that have this XYZ fundamental quality. So that's the thing that's really useful in terms of qualification. So there's qualification. Then sometimes if you're, like, stalled out and you don't know what to, she's not qualifying, just ask her. Right?
Okay, so let's move just a bit back on that part where you said that you qualify a bit differently when it comes to a core value. And you don't add in the indicator of disinterest, the IOD, the thing that keeps it suspended between hope and doubt. What's the difference? Why do you have to do that?
What's the difference between because if something that's really important to her, you don't want to make a joke out of it, right? You don't want to IOD it.
Right.
Like, most of the things she tells you should be, like, light, fluffy, kind of fun things.
Yeah.
But some of the things, she should very definitely make happen Sorry, I got somebody texting me here about the launch, but let me get back to it. All right. So the core values you have to just be positive with, but you can't be overtly positive with it because you can't say, oh, I love you because of that, because then it kills the entire hope and doubt, right?
Right.
So basically, it's really easy to IOI IOD. If you got to IOI something subtly, you do it in a roundabout way. For example, by saying that you hang out with people that have that quality and you really admire it.
Right. So it's avoiding talking about her directly.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
Okay. Good.
So that's the jam. And in terms of how do you elicit stuff, if there was a wanted poster, how do you elicit qualification information? Data from her, it's you can ask questions or it just comes up in conversation. But example questions are, if there's a wanted poster of you on that wall behind you, what would you be wanted for? If you had a special secret superpower, what would it be? Or simply, what do you do for work? What's the funnest thing that you've ever done? Where do you like to travel? Like, what's the coolest place you've been to? Right. So those are all questions that will elicit answers that you can qualify on.
Right. So the purpose of those questions are to get her to say something that you can then qualify easily. You can then say, yeah, I like that. All right. That makes it easy. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward and clear. And so what you were saying earlier is that qualifications a bit more important when it comes to girlfriends. And is it you were saying that you should qualify a bit differently if you're really serious about the girl?
No, it's not that.
Okay.
On SNL, you still want to. It's not the type of girl that you want to qualify differently.
Yeah.
It's the type of information that the girl's giving you, regardless of the type of pickup this is, that you want to qualify differently.
Okay.
Like even total sluts have fundamental needs, right?
Right.
Like generally, maybe it's a need for love and affection or freedom. Like total party girls tend to really want to be free and they want to get fucked a lot. So. I would say if she starts talking about, just if I feel she's that type of person, I'll say, for example, I love surrounding myself with passionate, loving people, that just they love without really thinking about the consequences. Those are the best kind of people, and that's the best kind of.
Have you got anything to say about selection? Because we're talking about different types of girls here. You made references to party girls who, are probably in a different stage of their life, or they just have different ideas of lifestyle versus, say, a professional, I don't know, lawyer in New York City who's got a pretty serious lifestyle and obviously isn't partying, thanks to her career and stuff. So have you got, any advice about how you should select women that you're interested in for a girlfriend, or how you should approach it differently depending on the type of woman?
I generally just calibrate my level of material to pretty much I just do live pickup. I don't do a lot of if you do an online game, for example, you can kind of select a little bit, who she is.
Yeah.
But ultimately they all respond to, high impact openers. They all respond to emotional stimulation. Mm-hmm. So the difference between, say, an intellectual girl and a girl that just likes to party is, the party girl will just have a lot of emotional conversation and have a lot of fun with her, and I won't get much into logical stuff. Yeah. Whereas an intellectual girl, I'll give her a little more real data and a little less emotional, just emotional stimulation. So, but in terms of if you were watching me do a pickup, you probably could almost not tell the difference, because it's not like I'm sitting there measuring, all right, well, I've given her this much emotional stimulation. Now it's time to talk logically. Pretty much everything I say is emotionally stimulating. Mm-hmm. It's just if she gives me sort of a logical response and looks like she's looking for a logical answer, a girl that's, more sort of mature, I'll maybe mess with her just a notch less. I'll tease her a little less. I'll be edgy a little less. Yeah. And I'll give her comfort elements more, right? So it's she wants real data. This is true for, say, older women. If you're picking up cougars or when they're 35 or older, they tend to just be more direct, right? So whereas a girl that is young, yet when you mess with her, she generally thinks it's all positive. A 35 woman might get a little more frustrated with that, right? Yeah. But you can tell that just right in feel. You don't really have to have, I don't have a preset game plan, because I've also gone to plenty of sets where there's a 35-year-old party girl, right? Mm-hmm. So it's really hard until you're in